this way with someone who I think increasingly, I'm sorry to say, just doesn't seem up to the job.
Well, Richard Johnson is a Labour historian and politics lecturer at Queen Mary University, London. Hello, Richard.
Good evening.
What is your assessment? I mean, it's been a bruising week, a bruising 10 days for Sir Keir Starmer. How much has this damaged the Labour Party and the Prime Minister in particular, do you think?
Well, it's been a bruising year, to be quite honest. I mean, since the general election of last year, Labour's poll numbers have tanked. Labour's now at about 20% in the polls. Labour got off onto the wrong foot with the winter fuel allowance, with the Lord Ali gift scandal, with Sue Gray resigning very early on, Keir Starmer's chief of staff. And in the last few weeks, things have sort of seemed to have reached a fever pitch, whether that's with Angela Rayner or with Peter Mandelson. This was meant to be the reset. This was meant to be the sort of second phase, as Keir Starmer said, of his premiership, and it got off to a very bad start. And I think it's fascinating that we're now seeing Labour MPs talking about removing the Labour leader. And I think one of the things that hasn't been discussed very much, but I'm glad we're discussing it now, is that the rules of the Labour Party actually make it relatively easy for a minority of Labour MPs to remove the leader. It's different from the Conservative Party rules. And this means that Keir Starmer is actually particularly vulnerable, maybe even more vulnerable than some of the Conservative prime ministers who were removed by their party in the previous decade.
Take us through those rules then, Richard. Well, how does that work?
So under the Labour Party rules, any MP who can gather the nominations of 20% of Labour MPs can force a leadership election. So we're seeing this at the moment with the deputy leadership election, but that was due to a vacancy where MPs had to gather 80 nominations. But the same rule applies to challenge a leader. So a member of the cabinet or a backbencher could gather 80 nominations and say that I want to challenge Keir Starmer for the leadership. And then that would be resolved, not by MPs, but by party members. So if Keir Starmer loses just 80 Labour MPs who decide to back someone else, then he has to fight for his leadership among Labour Party members. And a Survation poll last month showed that he's underwater with Labour members. He has a net negative approval rating among Labour members. He's the least popular member of the cabinet among Labour members except for Liz Kendall and Rachel Reeves. So that means that really almost under any conceivable pairing except for those two, he'd be the underdog.
How vulnerable then do you think he is? I mean, we heard the MP Clive Lewis there say, he doesn't seem up to the job. How does he stop this rut? How does he stop this discontent? Can he turn it around?
Well, in terms of the mechanics of the challenge, the thing that protects him a bit is the difficulty in coordinating around one challenger. So this is where the Labour rules are a little more insulating than the Conservative rules. Under the Conservative rules, you just had to vote no confidence in the leader. Now, that was the majority, so that's a higher threshold. But under the Labour rules, you have to find someone that 20% of the MPs can agree on to be the challenger from the outset. So until that sort of prince or princess across the water emerges, then he's relatively safe. In the meantime, to save his premiership, what he has to do is to improve Labour's poll rating. I mean, that's what it will come down to. MPs, any elected politician, this is not a jibe against them, are thinking about their re-election prospects. That's democratic politics. And at the moment, they're looking at local elections. They're looking, of course, at elections in Wales and Scotland next year, and thinking we're facing a potential bloodbath. And until Starmer can push Labour's poll ratings up, then I think the pressure is going to just continue to mount. Clive Lewis will not be the last to call into question his leadership.
Richard, good to get your assessment. Thank you. Richard Johnson there, Labour historian and politics lecturer at Queen Mary University, London. It's 5:20.